The man slept through Pearl Harbor, for heaven's sakes.
I sounded the alarm as soon as I could.
1941 is the most infamous Spielberg movie. That is, it was. I bet most people today haven't even heard of this movie, but back in the day, it was a pretty early blight on an otherwise promising career. This was essentially supposed to be his Dr. Strangelove, a farcical comedic take on a dramatic historical event, this one being the aftermath of Pearl Harbor instead of the Cold War. That's all well and good, but there's just one problem. You forgot the funny! I am not exaggerating when I tell you I did not laugh once throughout this movie. Hell, I didn't even smile once. It is a void where comedy goes to die. The story sucks. The characters are simultaneously annoying and completely forgettable. It's meant to satirize the absurd paranoia Americans felt right after Pearl Harbor, but it doesn't say anything other than, boy, those Americans sure were kooky, huh? And the kookiness is just so lamely written with such poor comedic timing. Wacky things just happen in this movie non-stop with no rhyme or reason. It's impossible to invest yourself in anything going on. And as a result, this is one of the most boring and least substantive films I've seen in quite a while. And even though the comedic timing isn't great, I think the direction isn't nearly as much to blame as the writing. Which is baffling, because this was written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, the duo who wrote the Back to the Future trilogy. They know how to be funny! And this was long before Robert Zemeckis went off the deep end as a filmmaker. So like, how did this happen? The only real redeeming parts are some of the effects looking pretty impressive for the time. This was Spielberg's first big budget movie, and it's pretty cool to see him playing around with some big ass toys. Like at the end, this house falls over, and it's just like, damn, that's a satisfying housebreaking scene. It's got some cool visuals, but like, this doesn't even crack the top 10 of the most impressive visuals in a Spielberg movie. Literally his very next film after this was Raiders of the Lost Ark. So like, how can you possibly justify checking out this boring, obnoxious slog unless you're doing a ranking of all these movies? Simple. You can't. Don't watch this movie ever. Just watch Dr. Strangelove and forget this piece of shit happened. I definitely will as soon as this ranking is over.